We'll make a start then.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so we'll start the meeting, and for anyone watching on the live stream, this is technically not a parish council meeting. It's a meeting of councillors. We have got in our standing orders the ability for us to meet informally over Zoom, because parish councils aren't allowed to meet over Zoom anymore. And then to delegate the decisions to Steve as our clerk, and he's got powers to do that. So that's the way we get round that. We try not to do it, because this is an extraordinary meeting. The business tonight really is that the Ducklings Preschool had given us notice. In fact, they now have, at least for the time being, withdrawn that, but we'll go on and have the discussion. So we'll start the meeting, and apologies for absence. Have you received any, Steve?
No.
Yeah, I'm hoping Ian will join us in a moment. How are we doing then? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ian should join us 6. That's just John Keane. Is I'm not sure he is around actually, isn't he? But anyway, so we'll mark John as absent. Any declarations of interest? No. Right. Well, really, I think straight over to you, Russell, to explain where we are and lead this discussion.
Yes, originally when the meeting was called, the preschool had given notice. They basically wanted to know what the notice period was, because they didn't think that they were going to be able to make it viable, and they wanted to tell the parents. Since then, over the weekend, on Sunday, I had a letter, an email from John Walters, one of the 2 owners of Ducklings, and he said that they've been thinking it over and were going to carry on till Christmas, which is basically a 3-month notice period. And if things improve during that time, they will consider going on after that. So that's what the situation is. And they said that any help we could give them would be greatly appreciated.
Does that mean that they have actually put in a notice to terminate?
They put the notice in on the 1st of October.
Oh, okay, so that's fine.
So it'll be 3 months, which will take up to the end of the year.
So the fact that this email over the weekend doesn't change that notice period?
No, it doesn't. But they can rescind it if things get better and they decide to carry on.
And what are you proposing as far as charges is concerned, that they carry on at their concessionary rate?
Yeah, they get the concessionary rate that village groups get, which we've already agreed until the end of this winter term.
Is that an extension?
No, we've already agreed that previously.
Right. Okay.
I mean, I think you suggested that we, despite the fact that you'd received this email, that we carried on and had this meeting to see if there were any ideas.
Yeah, and it's basically blue. I wanted some blue sky thinking.
Yeah.
One thing that was put forward was the possibility of on Mondays and Fridays sharing the hall with the school. We haven't approached the school, but the license that they get from Ofsted or the whoever deals with preschools means that they can't share facilities with any other organisation. That precludes that.
I'm guessing that's a safeguarding issue.
It is, yeah.
I mean, it probably have been the same as school, but I thought it's worth a try.
And quite honestly, I can't see the school wanting to have a lot of little kids when their kids are running around doing PE.
Yeah, and I mean, we had a discussion at the last meeting about the fact that, you know, we felt that our first allegiance had to be to the school because it's a permanent village organisation and indeed has been operating here for a very long time, in the village hall for a very long time. And they can't really move their hours because clearly it's got to be
with
hours, which are the same as preschool hours. And although I mean, and the same really applies to community, which, you know, is building up again now. And it's all, we couldn't really move that to when it's dark.
But I have to say that community is not in the same category as the school, because it's fairly new and it doesn't raise any revenue for the village hall.
Dave?
It's quite important though, surely, because it is a community thing, and that's what a village hall is all about.
But if it came down to it, between having community and the village hall having to close, and I think the village hall is more important.
I agree with Russell.
Yeah.
Dave?
Yeah. The only thoughts I've got on this really, and I'm not sure what we can decide to do at the moment, is that as and when the village hall has the vacancy, we should be looking at how we advertise that vacancy and how we get somebody in to use the village hall whilst it's vacant. But the problem we've got is that that's a bit of an unknown as to when it's going to be vacant.
Yes.
Because they're going to be there till the end of the year. They may or may not be able to continue. And until we know that for sure, I mean, we can start thinking about how we can do things now, certainly, but we can't actually do anything until we have that vacancy.
No. And to be honest, I don't think there's much point in doing anything until we get the definitive answer.
No, I agree.
The only issue is whether we should be pressing them for a definitive answer.
Yeah.
But I mean, in reality, there's no point in leaving it until, say, a month, 1st of December, because clearly you're not going to be able to do very much during the month of December.
No,
I mean,
you're not going to be able to do very much between now and December anyway.
Yeah, I mean, we're halfway, well, not a third of the way through October, and the further we pretty much have to start within the next couple of weeks if we were going to market it.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think we're pretty much in the place.
But then, if we do that, it preempts it, and then the only answer the preschool can give will be, well, we'll have to close then. So I think we should carry on and hope that things improve for them.
Yeah, no, I'd rather agree. Yeah.
No, because
does anyone else?
Because a preschool is valuable to the village, and especially with the new houses coming, where there will be young kids.
Have you told John Waters, by the way, about the new houses?
I think we did in previous times. Yes,
we did a while ago.
Yeah.
I mean,
but we don't know how many children there's going to be, or how old they're going to be. So,
but he might find it worth his while to leaflet the houses, because you know, it does look as if they're going to be, at least some of them are going to be, well, some of them are already occupied. But anyway, he might find it worthwhile leafleting them. Right, is there any more business really on this? I mean, I think we're just basically saying we're resigned that we've got to leave this really until we get definitive answer.
Unless anybody has any ideas, no matter how wild they are.
I don't think there's anything that we haven't tried.
No, not really. I can think of now.
Used to go out in the newsletter, so it's not as if the whole village hasn't been told. But as you say, there's 31 new houses that can close and 9 at the moment at Station Yard. So the idea of 40 new houses and potentially young families, I think that's probably the only thing at the moment that might
Right. I think that's basically the financial problems are more urgent. You know, they are really urgent for them, and it's not a question of they may not have the means to survive for a year or two.
And you've got to remember that the 3 months notice applies on both sides.
Yes.
And so if preschool are happy with 3 months notice, then we've no option but to go with that. And I would suggest it's the right thing to do anyway, but I'm assuming that as it's a meeting of councillors rather than parish council meeting, I can have this this input.
Yeah, no, of course you can. I mean, I would think with those 30 houses likely to be occupied by the end of the year, it's probable that there'll be 1 or 2 children out of them, and frankly, 1 or 2 children is almost enough to tip the balance. But whether they'll go there or whether they'll go to Acorn or whether they'll go elsewhere
that's the other problem. The parents get 30 hours of free childcare if they're eligible for it, and
I think we must be cognizant of the fact that the real problem is Monday, Wednesday, and Friday afternoons.
That means they can't get the full 30 hours.
So they can't get the full 30 hours in. If they could get the full 30 hours in, I think it would be a goer.
Different matter, yeah.
That's the impression I get. So I don't know whether there's any possibility of working with the school.
Acorn is
Sorry, Steve.
well more than 30 hours a week.
You wanted some blue sky thinking, yeah?
Yeah. Well,
in terms of Acorn, has anyone thought of approaching Acorn Nursery to see if they would want? Because I don't know how much space they've got in there, but would it be viable for them to actually start using the village hall and paying for it?
Well, I mean, I think that's a very good idea, Dave, because I think I have heard. I think I heard from a resident who's got a couple of children that Acorn is pretty much full. Yeah. So they might well be interested in a satellite room at some point.
Yeah.
No, that's very good thinking. But I mean, again, I think that's something that would come in as we get.
As when we have to make it.
I think also the downfall of that would be the same as for the preschool, the not being able to get the full 30 hours in that.
Yeah, well, we can't get over that, can we?
No, but they may be able to juggle it so that they could, have.
Well, there's a big enough organisation with enough people there that they might be looking for a venue. If they could just use for a couple of hours a day, it might be exactly what they need.
Yeah, it might be something where they can get by with just overflowing in the mornings only or something like that. But anyway, look, I think that's a great idea, Dave, and we really need to make sure we don't forget it at the end of the year. If Ducklings,
I'm going to forget what I did today. So that's just a given.
Well, well, Darren, he's the youngest here, isn't he?
My daughter goes to Acorn.
Tie not your handkerchief, Darren.
He's the only one that can remember what you did.
Yeah, he can be the parish council memory. Right? Are we effectively done on this?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Shall we then call this meeting to an end? And I will now stop the live stream, but I would appreciate it if councillors could stay on the line.
Yeah. And I'm going to stop the live stream downstairs on